Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever, been in that situation,
hmm
maybe a new job, a conference, whatever, and you need to introduce yourself in English, and it just feels a bit basic?
Yeah, like those phrases you learned on day one. Hi, I'm.
Exactly. Like, you want to sound natural, maybe a bit more C1, C2 level,
Yeah.
but you're stuck.
It's super common. I mean, those simple intros, they do the job,
Yeah,
right?
well, for sure, they work.
But when you're aiming higher, you want, well, more nuance, more personality.
Right, something smoother, a richer toolkit, maybe.
Exactly. And that's really what we're diving into today. We've got some source material here that digs into how to do introductions in a really natural, advanced way in English.
Lots of options for different situations, I see.
Yeah, loads. So our mission really is to pull out those key phrases, the strategies, the little language shifts that take a simple intro and make it better.
Elevated.
Yeah.
Help you feel more confident, less like you're reading from a script.
Precisely. Move beyond the textbook.
Okay, so first things first. We should probably say there's nothing wrong with the basic intro.
Absolutely not. The sources even give this example like, "Hi, I'm Alex, nice to meet you.
Claire, nice to meet you too.
What are you doing here?"
I sell cheese. You.
"I'm with the marketing team."
Perfectly functional. Gets the job done.
Totally. Countless conversations happen just like that. But
But we want more options, right?
yeah,
Especially aiming for that C1, C2 comfort level. Make it feel more organic.
exactly. More you. Choosing the right phrase for the moment, building that connection a bit faster.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. Initiating. What if you're pretty sure you haven't met someone, but you don't want to just barge in with your name?
Yeah, how do you open politely?
Uh-huh.
Well, the sources suggest phrases that kind of acknowledge you haven't met, like, "I don't think we've been introduced."
Oh, right.
Or slightly different, "I'm not sure we've met before."
I like those. They're sort of gentle invitations, aren't they? Less abrupt.
Exactly. Polite, invites them to confirm, sets a nice tone.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And, okay, we're focusing on introducing yourself, but the sources touch on introducing other people too, right? Just briefly.
Yeah, quickly. More formal, you might get. "I'd like to introduce my colleague, Carson Chang."
Got it. And less formal.
Something like, "Have you met Julie? She's a mate from school." Simple. Depends on the vibe.
Okay, cool. Back to you. So, stating your name, I'm name, obviously essential.
Can't skip that.
But how do you add a bit more? Especially with nicknames or shortened names. This feels like where the personality starts.
It really is. And the sources have some great options. You could say, "I'm Magdalena, but most people call me Magda." Very clear.
Okay?
Or, "My name's Roberto, but I usually go by Beto."
I go by, the sources explain that just means that's the name I use.
Yep, exactly that. It's a really natural phrase.
Handy.
Another one is, "Please call me Pate." It's short for Patricia. Just tells people directly what you prefer.
Right. And then there were some more advanced, almost humorous ones.
Yeah, these are great for adding character. Like, "Bartholomew's my given name, but only my grandmother calls me that. I've always felt more like a Bart."
Chuckles lightly. Okay, that tells you a lot instantly.
Doesn't it? Or adding humor like, "I respond to William or Will, but never Bill."
Setting boundaries with a smile. I like
If
it.
it's lighthearted, shows character.
Okay, so you've made contact, shared your name. What if there's a mutual friend or colleague? How do you bring that up smoothly?
Oh, this is a brilliant way to build rapport quickly. You can just state it, "I'm a friend of Keiko's," or "a colleague of Keiko's."
Simple enough.
And then, to add a really nice touch, the sources suggest, "She speaks very highly of you."
Oh, it's lovely. Like, Keiko's been saying good things. That's got to feel good to hear.
It really does. It's a genuine compliment, puts things on a positive footing right away.
Nice. What about that other common one, when you've heard about someone before meeting them?
Ah, yes. The standard phrase is, "I've heard a lot about you."
Which can feel a bit intense sometimes.
It can. So the sources give these common, often funny replies to kind of lighten it up, like, "All good, I hope."
Laughs.
Yeah,
Or, should I be worried?
that one too.
That's-
Or the classic deflector, "Don't believe a word of it."
Shows you're not taking yourself too seriously.
Exactly. And then when you finally meet someone whose name you knew, how do you say that?
Oh, right, like you've seen their emails or
Yeah,
something.
the perfect phrase is, "It's good to put a face to the name."
Ah, yeah. That's a warm way to acknowledge you knew of them.
Exactly. Connects the name to the person.
Okay, switching gears a bit. What are those slightly awkward times when someone looks familiar, you think you've met, but you're not sure where?
Ugh, yes. How to handle that gracefully.
Right, without putting them on the spot.
The sources offer a fantastic phrase. I think our paths have crossed before.
Crossed paths. So the sources say that means like met by chance sometime.
Precisely. It's great because it's vague. You don't need the specifics. It just opens the door for them to respond, maybe jog their own memory.
Yeah, much better than have we met, which
Mm.
can feel like a quiz.
Definitely. And if you suspect you're in similar professional or social worlds, you could add, we must move in the same circles.
Implying it's not that surprising you might have met or almost met.
Yeah. And if you combine those, maybe you're genuinely surprised you haven't met. You could say something like, I can't believe we haven't crossed paths before.
These feel so much more socially skilled than just staring awkwardly.
They really are. They build bridges, not pressure. Okay, so you've done names, maybe connections. What's next? Often it's finding out where someone's from or why they're at a particular place, right?
And again, moving beyond the super direct, are you from around here? And also giving better answers yourself.
Exactly. Add some color to your own answer. If you are local, you could say, yep, Portsmouth, born and bred.
Okay, born and bred.
Or, yeah, I was born and raised just around the corner. Both mean you grew up right there.
Nice. And if you've moved around.
You could say, originally, but I've moved around a lot. I'm based in Milan at the moment. Gives a bit of history.
Yeah.
I grew up here, but I've been living in Belfast for the past few years. Again, more detail, more conversational.
And if you're just visiting briefly?
Done simple one. No, just passing through. Means you're making a short stop.
Okay. Now, asking why someone's at an event, why are you here, can sound a little abrupt.
Yeah, a bit blunt maybe. The sources suggest much softer options.
Like?
What brings you here today? Much more open.
Okay.
Or if it's a general location, what brings you to this part of the world? Or specific to the event, what brings you to the conference today?
Much more inviting.
Yeah.
And then there's that classic follow-up.
Yes. Especially at professional things. Business or pleasure.
Get straight to the point, but nicely. The sources had that coffee example right.
They did. What brings you to the World Coffee Championships today? Business or pleasure?
And the answers were like, business. I'm with beans.
Oh, purely pleasure. I'm a bit of a caffeine addict.
And that leads perfectly into the next bit from the sources adding personality. That caffeine addict comment makes the intro way more memorable.
Totally. It makes you more than just a name and a function. And the sources highlight a really common, useful way to do this. I'm a bit of a...
Right, a bit of a. It sort of softens it, makes it sound casual, modest.
Exactly. Very C1, C2 level, actually. Sounds quite natural and maybe a little self-deprecating in a nice way.
So instead of, I really like food, it's...
I am a bit of a foodie, yeah. Or I guess you could say I'm a bit of a bookworm.
Gentle way to put it.
Or I consider myself a bit of a language geek. Though the sources do warn maybe don't call someone else a geek unless you know them well.
It laughs. Good point. Fair enough. Okay, another nice phrase for liking something was, have a soft spot for.
Yes. Have or have got a soft spot for. It means you have a particular fondness or affection for something.
So like?
Like, I've got a soft spot for stray cats, and now I have 7 at home. Paints a picture, right? Shows warm.
Definitely. Or the other example.
I've always had a soft spot for cheesy 80s music. Reveals a personal taste, makes you relatable.
Okay, this is fantastic, piece by piece. But how does it all, actually sound together? The sources had that second dialogue, the more advanced one.
Yeah, the Alexander and Claire one. Let's walk through that because it really shows these phrases in action. It feels so different from the first basic one.
Okay, so it starts with that polite opening. Hi, I don't think we've been introduced.
See? So much softer already. Then the name, with the preferred version. I'm Alexandra, but I usually go by Alex.
Adding that personal detail immediately. Then finding out why they're there. Nice to meet you. I'm Claire. So what brings you here today?
And the follow-up. Business or pleasure?
Plays so naturally. Then that potential recognition moment, using the phrase, I think our paths have crossed before, actually. Were you at the Cheddar Together conference in Melbourne?
Gently opening that door. Which leads to confirming the shared world. Yeah, I was. We must move in the same circles.
Using another one of our phrases. And finally, connecting it to the event with personality.
So, are you a bit of a cheese addict too?
Using a bit of a ga, perfectly there. And the simple reply, yeah, you could say that.
Wow. Yeah, reading that through, it just feels completely different. It covers the basics, names, why they're there, but with so much more warmth and potential for actual connection.
It really does. It weaves in nearly all those advanced bits we talked about, but it sounds Seamless, natural.
Shows the difference having that wider vocabulary mix at this level. It's not just about facts, it's about rapport.
Making the other person feel comfortable, seen, building that connection.
Absolutely. So, okay, we've covered a whole range now. Options for starting: names, connections, recognizing people, asking about purpose naturally, adding personality.
A whole toolkit.
Yeah. So the key now, I guess, is for you listening to now. Actually, try them out.
Definitely listen for them, maybe practice them in real life, or even just thinking through scenarios. The more you use them, the more natural they'll feel. Makes sense. And just as we wrap up this deep dive, it makes you think, doesn't it? If introductions hold this much potential for more advanced natural expression, what other bits of everyday conversation might have that hidden depth? Opportunities we're missing?
That's a really interesting thought to mull over. What else seems routine but could be rich?